this for the right reasons. And some of these other guys.
All right. This is 21.3 and 21.4. Just practicing the video stuff for the Open and hopefully quarterfinals. So here we go.
Does it change the trajectory of your life and who you are as a person? Not really. Right?
Yeah. That's one of those we'll never know. Yeah. But it's like I'm trusting him with it. So it's like big picture. That's like the joy, right? It's like, no matter what happens here, he's gonna use it. It's just not the way I want it. And that's part of my journey, right? That's part of my athlete journey. Is like I was the kid younger. Like I struck out 3 times at a baseball game. It was cold out. Walked to the dugout and punched out the cooler because my winning. I wanted it. This is what I wanted to do, and I wanted it to look like me being in the front or the winner or whatever. Sometimes it's not.
So I think to wrap it up, and you've had those experiences. Athletes that have been close or just missed out. Maybe they don't do well in the Open, or they qualify but then they stink in quarterfinals, and you have to have those conversations with those athletes. So how has your experience allowed you to be able to communicate that well with your athletes?
That's a solid one we talked about recently. It's like taking mine and encouraging people to just step in the arena first, because that's a big one. I do find like being in the coaching side now and just having conversations with men and women is like, how many people want to go find out? They want to go find their potential, right? So it's like I've done that now, so now I want to encourage them to do that. That's what it really helped. Crazy chills right now, because I was really talking to people about that this morning, about like listening to things of people and like encouraging people and like having encouragement. That's my favorite quote. It's the only like brand quote that I have is that one. And so I think those failures have led to me being able to have the confidence to have those conversations. Like, first off, let's just go like sign up and find out. And then second off, it's enabled in I guess in a way helping me navigate those conversations where there are those valleys for people. And hope to keep that underlying perspective, whether that's faith oriented or really process oriented, which hopefully the process leads to conversations.
I think you should read that quote to wrap this up. You don't know it by heart.
Something, blood, sweat, tears, stuff like that. I'm gonna pull it up. You do it. I think you would read it way better than I would. You need me to solve for a second?
Yeah.
It's not it's the opinion of the critic.
It's not the critic who
It is not
counts.
the critic who counts, or the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither knew victory nor defeat. And that's such a good quote.
It is. It's like the beginning of like a theology of competition.
Yeah.
Which I'm starting to lean more. We gotta pause on this, but like more into honestly Rich's mentality of like get people to compete, like get people to sign up for something hard, and because it reveals character. You're saying so. Yeah, wait for David Mathis to come on and he's often give us more context on that too. But anyway, wrap it up, Brandon.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Tyler.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys.
Welcome back to the NPC podcast. This week we got another quick hitter for you. We're going to give you 8 strategies on how to overcome anxiety, and in particular on game day. But before we start, I wanted to kind of get Jake, maybe you can give us the difference between anxiety and just nervousness, because I think there are kind of 2 distinct categories there.
Yeah, well, the reason Brandon's kicking it to me is because he's never dealt with anxiety in his life. It's what he told us right before the podcast. You want to explain that a little bit more, Brandon?
I was saying I don't get as anxious as I think most people.
Sorry, guys, I'm the weak link in here.
Can I take Brandon?
I definitely get nervous.
Well,
I get nervous between
We start to training.
Oh my
Brandon's
gosh.
into the open, doesn't get anxious. Yeah. So deal with anxiety though?
Sometimes.
Define anxiety. Do you think it is important? Because anxiety is a term that we throw around a lot in today's culture, like in general. Everybody's anxious, right? Like we have folks, Jonathan Haidt book, right? The Anxious Generation. And I will say this as a disclaimer. This topic is something we're probably none of us are all that well to speak on at a very high level. There's a reason why there are licensed counselors, psychologists, etc. And so maybe even the definition I give might not be all that clinically accurate. And we do have Jojo Neal, which would be awesome to have a sports psychologist on our staff, talks to all our NPC athletes once a month, comes to the camps and just talks on this. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about, I have a paper, just a reference. There you go, Josh. A lot of it actually comes from some of the principles Joe talks about. But I do think, let's define it first. What do we mean by anxiety? I think it's worrying and ruminating on things that haven't happened. The simple differentiation between stress and anxiety that I've always heard is stress is running from the line, right? The line is literally chasing the line forward. And then anxiety is thinking about can't feel like you're actually like 100%. I do. And then I don't have that actually ever personally distinguished nerves. So this is gonna be my own definition. It could be way off. It was from talking to a coach recently, who I mentor. He just had a really cool opportunity to become a head coach at the gym. And so I coach her and mentor her. So when she was a coach and a coach was in her check-in, and she put that she's going to deal with a lot of anxiety. And it was when I asked her in the console, like, hey, I started dealing with anxiety. Like, what was that from? And she said, oh, it's just like, this new opportunity I have. And as she talked about it more, everything she was saying didn't describe anxiety at all. She wasn't all that worried about it. She wasn't thinking about things that haven't happened or how she was going to feel or anything. In fact, she was literally telling me, I'm actually really confident about this. I feel like I'm prepared for it. I'm ready for it. I'm just really excited. I'm honestly just nervous. I was like, well, it doesn't sound really like you're all that anxious about it at all. It just sounds like this is normal, like, feelings and nerves and you're excited for this opportunity that you wanted before. I think that's so important to differentiate too, because then you don't just tell yourself you're anxious. It's almost like self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, oh my gosh, I'm worried, I'm anxious. Oh my God. It's almost like you can create that anxiety in yourself. And then two, I do think even from a biblical theological standpoint too, it has implications, right? Or how you deal with it. So we want to talk about more specifically walking into the competition, walking into the open workout, walking into quarterfinals, or you're walking into a competition at your gym, and you get this build up of nerves and excitement. How do we keep that from tipping over into anxiety? Whereas like now I'm starting to think about things and I'm basically catastrophizing everything that's going to happen.
I have a little litmus test I've used for like athletes, like question I'll ask to kind of discern that, like where they're at. And typically, specifically for CrossFit, if I have an athlete and I'm asking them about the workout and they say they're anxious or they're nervous, I kind of will like interchange the words. I try to see what they're actually nervous about, and that will be really telling. So if they're really nervous of like, oh, I don't want this person to beat me, is big one, or I don't want to get this place, or I don't want to get last on the workout, they're focusing on the outcome of the workout, or the athlete says like, I know what I'm about to do to myself, I'm really nervous about this, is how this is about to feel. That's nervousness.
Yes.
Anxiety is, if I lose to this person, I suck. And I don't want people to think that I suck. And so I can't let that happen because I'm worried about the way I place this specific way to work out. That's literally how it is.
It's almost like an identity thing.
If it's a workout focused answer, then they're nervous. And that's a good thing. Yes. I'm like, okay, good.
Yes, you know it's gonna hurt.
I was like, you actually need not to go there, because if you don't go there and you might need to win this workout, then right before the workout, the last workout, which actually went chaotic, which probably caused me to be anxious about workouts with weight training things. But anyways, I literally like asked him, I was like, what are you nervous about? He's like, well, honestly, like that I might go so hard I fail the last clean. Good. And I was like, good, don't fail the last clean.
Yes.
I sent it on the ground. That was it. Yeah. And he literally, and he actually did exactly what he needed to do to qualify. So he just up the way ready to work out. And he had done it. He did it at TFX too. He won the last workout at TFX. And it was like a run hangout. he was kind of, at first he was acting like a little anxious. He was like, well, what if we're going to run and have to try to, he's like, focusing on people vision. And I said, pretty much insurance workout here. I was like, what if you just come up from the running and just get everything in this? And he was like,
Yep.
yeah, I guess so. I just hope the running doesn't hurt like that. And then he just started like warming up and we were working. So like constantly start thinking about like, focus on the workout and the things that maybe make you nervous in the workout and not the outcome. What's the other work person you're gonna take? And I feel like that helped me discern with that. Like asking those questions helped me discern which one.
That's probably tip number 1. Maybe we have 9 tips today. Yeah, but it's like the bonus tip is differentiating between anxiety and nervousness. And like Joe said, like in Dom, you just spoke about earlier, you want to be nervous. It helps them. Yeah, well, quite like physiologically, I think we've mentioned this on our podcast before. It's going to regulate all the physiological systems, keep it really broad, that you need to go attack a workout. You want your stress elevated. You want to feel that. Joe, the analogy he uses is you want to think of nerves like little soldiers. Like all those little tingling sensations, like, oh, these are the soldiers you're about to go to war with. I love that thought because we have like the NPC camps. I'll start to get a little nervous before you go talk in front of everybody at the very beginning. And then I try to remind myself what Joe says, like, oh yeah, we're about to go. I'm going to war.
I did that. You've been the most hypertrophic I've coached in the last year. I was like, you can literally just go see the video right now. Or if anybody can do it, it's you.
The best,
all of a sudden you're like,
best football games I've played, maybe you can relate, Dom, like in sports. I'll never forget, like junior year high school football, I was about to puke. Like I was so nervous. I had just gotten the starting middle linebacker role. Other guys had transferred. They were talking trash on social media. You only have that because I left. Like, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like I wasn't anxious though. I wasn't like, what if I fail? Everybody's gonna think I wasn't really. I remember just being like, I'm so excited. I'm not anticipation. I think back to other games in high school, or even really more so in college, where you have a losing season, you're at Taylor, nobody's coming to the games, it's in the middle of nowhere, and you're almost bored. I hate to say it, right? I don't know if you've even had some of those. But I don't know, you start checking out a little bit.
we want to beat them, so.
Whatever. Right, you know you're about to get stomped by some of the legit team that confidence. Yeah, I just said I'm used to this. It's that simple. Like you're just in that say concept. Yeah.
Like you're using your nerves to actually help you perform, as opposed to anxiety is what's destroying the performance because you're thinking about all the bad outcomes. And then to kind of go back, I brought up the identity thing. I think when people are only worried about what other people will think about them, right? If I miss this lift, then people are going to think I'm bad. You're identifying yourself solely in just that piece as opposed to being excited about this opportunity that I have. So I think that's really important to think about.
Want to start rattling off maybe some of the stuff we have. So number 1, we have relaxation techniques. We're saying, hey, you're in the competition. Well, you don't want to use any of these techniques when you're about to warm up. Like, this is in the middle of the competition, between workouts, different like you mentioned this earlier, where you said like stress running from the line, anxiety thinking about running from the line, but it actually has the same effect on your body. Yeah, that's the point here, where it's like you're so sympathetic, you're out of control. Your fight nervous system is turned on, which we do want right before you hit the workout, right? We don't want it not for the 5 hours between workouts where you need to recover the morning of, or why try to go to bed the night before, or in the middle of the weekend of the competition. So what can you do to get out of that sympathetic state and get more parasympathetic into the rest and digest mode? Well, one of the easiest things to do, we talked about this on the essential recovery protocols, is diaphragm. Right? When you breathe in your belly, breathe in your diaphragm, more specifically, stimulates your vagus nerve, which controls the switch in your brain between the parasympathetic and sympathetic. So it's really naturally so there's always the breath protocols out there. Using the just like a 1-2 ratio. So maybe after the nose, 4 seconds, exhale for 6 to 8 seconds. Just nice and slow. You want to like bigger bang for your buck, you do what Sean says, right? Couple it, which we showed this on the recovery podcast already with prayer, and more specifically prayers of thankfulness and gratitude. Right? You do keep breathing while you're praying prayers of thankfulness and gratitude.
watch out,
It's a double whammy.
Move.
You're definitely going to come down. Your nervous system's going to go down regulated. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen anybody else or anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I actually funny you say that, because now that I think about it, the one athlete that I coached that probably has the least competition anxiety. It's like, don't step into that. I can't.
Even though this in the middle of the competition weekend, when you're not competing, during, like you said, a few hours between, get out of the warm-up area. You know, like, get away. Yeah. I know it's a way to relax. Otherwise, it's impossible. You're just like, everybody, like, you're seeing them cut for their first heat, but you don't go for another hour. It's like, get out. You know, like, Seth, that's something that, you know, I figured out what should we want for him is go on a walk. Like, go outside, you know, syndicate, we've been at the same spot for a couple of years, and just go for a walk. And just talk about something unrelated to CrossFit for a little bit. That helps them a ton.
Two other ones that I really like, especially like pre-bed, you know, because it is hard to calm down after the weekend, is progressive muscle relaxation.
Almost.
We did bring up in the recovery protocols video that we did, but that's a great one. I use that sometimes if like I'm working late, so just calm down. There's a lot of good videos on YouTube you can even follow for that. And then I do think if you can do it properly, visualization can be a way to down-regulate. You have to learn how to be positive when you visualize, though. I think some people that becomes a rumination of bad things, but if you can teach yourself, and this is why you don't do it just pre-competition, you should always be visualizing things that you want to execute. And it's not just in CrossFit. Visualize your role at work, visualize your opportunity as a parent or as a husband or wife, whatever it may be, and always think through those things, and it allows you to perform better.
The research on visualization is insane. Yeah. Like, it's like crazy how powerful it is. Like, in skill development, particularly in the class I was in last semester, we talked about it at Nowotny. It's wild. Like, some of the recommendations, girls, like, I'm going to go to old school, so they're like 2-to-1 ratio of actual practice versus visualization. Like, shoot, you flip around. So you would double the amount of time you're doing visualization techniques than you would actually practice. And I was like, yeah, I'm a little too. Like, I don't know about that. But still, it just shows how powerful it can be. So
I think one thing I've thought about too for athletes is just like, they put themselves around before they, or like, there's someone in your family that's coming to watch and makes you like,
hold on,
anxiety.
hold on.
Literally don't go hang out with them in between events. Like, do not do that.
yeah, when that is for me.
Sometimes for like the younger athletes too, it's like kind of their parents. Like, and that even used to be like for me sometimes when I like playing basketball, I feel like I can't be around my
Hey, heads up, come here.
That was actually, that was my third point. We'll call our second point. It was a support system. Like, surrounding yourself with people. Down, that's like a more detailed, it's not just, hey, surround yourself with good people. No, surround yourself with people that you can feel relaxed around. You know, like, and maybe even people who are just going to keep you alive. I think that's one of Rich's biggest advantages in competition. We joke about it, but it was Darren. Like, because Darren's going to crack you up the whole weekend, right? It just keeps it light. That's why I know Paige love having Darren around, you know, back in the day. And so, dude, if I'm competing, I'll call Darren up and just hang out with me. Yeah,
It's super empowering. I can remember doing at Rogue, like with Emma, you know that thing where they had to like jump over the log and then like, and it was like a cutting event.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, back when it was in Texas, she got cut in the first round.
Hey, don't
She
go on
came
that.
off the first log, and she came off like
Don't on the
she was
washboard.
depressed the whole time. Like she came off.
Watch out,
I
Eddie.
just walked up to her and like she was kind of crying, and I just started laughing, and she's like, "Why are
You're
you
good.
laughing?" And I was like, "You know those things where
Okay.
people put on the Velcro suit and they run and they jump and they stick to the Velcro wall?" I was like, "You look the exact same." That's all. And she started laughing, and I was like, "Next event," and then I was like, she like hang out by herself. She liked to hang out by herself a little bit after events and like kind of just like work it in her head. But then I just let her go by herself and like do her thing.
30-second digression real quick. If you gotta answer it right off, first person that comes to your head. On our coaching staff, we're gonna pick one. You're going to the CrossFit Games this year. On competition.
Yep, that's good.
Oh, dude, first person that came to your head. It was me, wasn't it? I'm just kidding. Okay, Brandon would stress me out though. He's a strategy.
I need someone that won't talk to
You
me.
just tell me how to split it up and then I just go out there and do it.
Someone that won't talk to me, so it'd be Mike.
I was thinking Mike too. He wouldn't say anything. I don't know, man. Just kind of do whatever. Yeah.
Wait, I'm trying to remember everybody on staff. Actually, you know who I think I would want?
You know,
To
not.
be honest,
Yeah.
this is no knock on you.
Yeah, that or like I don't say we would go to all the time. Part of me would be like a Sean or even Mom Chef too, just because I
Good job.
wouldn't be afraid to tell me like it is. Like, you suck. And I would do this as well. Mom Chef would be
I
great.
just like,
Yeah.
I could, Tyler would help me like joke around a lot too. We have the same. That's why.
He's so funny.
All right, so relaxation. Just to categorize you, these were physical strategies. So relaxation, technique, supportive environment, the other people around you. The third one would be posture, right? And so we were talking about this before the podcast. A lot of this is taken from, again, Joe, and then also Joe taking it from, Jordan Peterson, right? And the lobster study, right? But really simply put is how you carry yourself, and we all know this is going to determine like how you feel over the weekend. So what is it? Chest up, shoulders back, head up, and just walking around with confidence. It's the Superman study, right? Where they asked people to actually walk around and stick their chest out like Superman, and it actually affected their mental disposition.
I think it's the craziest thing because like even if you're sitting in your car or at home listening to this, just do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like I got just roll your shoulders forward and like tuck your chin and sit like that for a couple of minutes and then change it. And you'll, like there's an instant change in the way you do thinking about yourself and about things around you.
I would even say like think about a legit who has awful posture to walk around.
I love you too,
Goes
man.
around when they walk around. It doesn't like own you, so to speak.
I can't think.
I'm sure anybody.
Yeah.
No. So, and then another, like, this is kind of, I guess, sort of related to posture is to grab another helpful